Evening everyone, how you all doing? I hope you're all doing really well. My apologies for the slow start to the channel at the minute. We've had a bit of a rocky upload schedule. We uploaded a video about 3 weeks ago now. We're going to sort all this out. You'll be getting videos weekly. Um, you know, I'd like to do something a bit different though. I'd quite like to just have a sit down and tell you guys about some of the latest news in boxing, some of the latest current affairs, what's going on with the big names. But before I do all that, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you're up to date with everything that's coming out on this channel. We're gonna have a few different things popping off now and then. Obviously, we're gonna be doing the interviews, which is the main thing. We're also gonna be doing stuff like this, where it's just a sit down, where I'm telling you guys about the news in boxing and what's going on. To begin with, the big news: Dana White, Nick Khan, and Turki Al-Sheikh working together for TKO Boxing Promotions. What's going on with this? Like, no one seems to know. We've not had any proper. So like, we had a kind of sit down with Turkey and Dana and the Ring Magazine editor, but we don't know what's going on. What's going on? At the Canelo press conference the other day, Turki Al-Sheikh was stood in the middle of William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, and it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Canelo's trainer came in from the left, trying to hand him the WBC belt, and Turki Al-Sheikh kind of just went like no and shunned him away. And then Canelo also, following the instructions of Turki Al-Sheikh, told his trainer, no, the belt's not going on stage, which is really strange. Obviously, Mauricio Suleiman, the chairman for the WBC, has always remained a very, very, very strong relationship with Canelo. Making all them belts every time he fights, all that kind of thing. So it's a bit strange. It feels as if Turkey's really, really trying to make a statement. Like he's truly trying to tell his people, tell us, the audience, this is how it is from now on. This is how it is from now. One belt per division. Is the only way I can explain it is it really does seem that Dana White, Turki Al-Sheikh, and Nick Khan, they've got this idea in their head that they're gonna make boxing great again. I suppose that's the phrase that have been thrown around at the minute. Will they make it great again? I don't know. I think boxing's been great for the past few years now. Obviously, the involvement of Saudi Arabia, all the money that we're ploughing into the sport of boxing, it has helped it, but it's also in ways damaged it. We'll get into that later. But where does Mauricio Suleiman stand now? Is he going to work alongside them? Who knows? Um, is he trying to get rid of the sanctioning bodies? I mean, that's a really interesting way of thinking about it. Is he trying to get rid of the sanctioning bodies? Because if he is, there'll be hell to pay. People don't like change. People don't like to admit it, but people do not like change. Um, the WBC has been a sanctioning body for over a century now. Over 100 years, the WBC has been a sanctioning body. It is one of the most renowned and one of the most prestigious sanctioning bodies ever in history. And if Saudi Arabia and Turki Al-Sheikh and Nick Khan and Dana White think they can just come in, take over the sport, and do with it as they please, they've got another thing coming. Because Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and Bob Arum, I do not think they'll stand with it. That being said, a report came out last week that Netflix are looking to host some of these TKO shows. Obviously, Netflix have worked with TKO in the past with the WWE. The fights that I wanted to put on: Canelo versus Crawford and Fury versus AJ. Fury versus AJ. I'll say this now, and you can hold me against this. I think Fury AJ will be made by the end of the year. I do. I think Fury versus AJ gets made sometime in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and we see that fight happening sometime June, July, August, summertime. Peak interest. I think it happens here in the UK, Wembley Stadium, and I do think Netflix show it. I think Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn know that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are at the end of their career. The biggest way they are going to make money is have them fight on Netflix in front of all their subscribers. I mean, people don't like it, but look at who was it? It was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Look how many views that got. Look how many people tuned in to watch that fight. It was an absurd. It was an absurd amount of people. If they want Fury and AJ to be the big fight that's been built up to be for the past 7 years, then it needs to happen on Netflix. I'm sorry, it does. And I'm not a big lover of this whole TKO bullshit, with Dana White. Because we'll get into it in a minute what I don't agree with, but I think this fight needs to be made this year. And if it doesn't get made this year, I'm not watching it. People won't watch it. I know people won't watch it. No one wants to watch that fight in a year's time when they're both done. I think Anthony Joshua's been done for the past few years. I think Tyson Fury's been on the decline since about 2021. They're both at the end of a career. It's the fight to be made. Obviously, it's an interesting thing to think about. Is heavyweight boxing dead? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got Parker, Bacoli, Dubois, and Usyk. I mean, we could throw in Caballero, I suppose. In my opinion, this is what I would do, right? If I were these big heavyweight boxers. Alexander Usyk is unified in 2 divisions. He's undisputed in 2 divisions. He's an Olympic gold medalist. Have a fight with, and people won't like to hear this, Usyk should fight Dubois. He'll win. I think. I don't know, actually. That's a difficult one, but that's a story for another day. Usyk should fight Dubois. And then there's two ways you could do this. You could fight Dubois and retire happily, and let the new wave of the new generation of boxers come in, the new generation of heavyweights come in. For the past 7 years now, we've been played with Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk has remained the one fighter out of them all who is the king. Controversially, I'm not a big fan of Usyk because Tyson Fury is on my wall here. I don't know if you can see. Tyson Fury was my biggest inspiration as a fighter. Obviously, I've been into boxing since I was very, very young. Obviously, the Tyson Fury redemption arc and whole story was one of my favourite things in the sport ever. It really cemented my interest in the sport and my love for the sport. But yeah, and it was sad to see him lose. And I suppose in a way, Usyk beating them all, it was a bit annoying. I'll say it. But Usyk's supreme. He is one of the greatest boxers of the generation, if not the greatest boxer of the generation. People argue Crawford is, but another thing, Crawford's only fought once per year since he was 33. Like, what's that about? The best fighters stay active, and this for that reason I think Canelo will beat him. We'll get into that later. I'm going off track. Back to Dana White, I suppose, and TKO and Nick Khan and Turkey. Is Dana White being hypocritical? Yes, and I'll tell you for why. Dana White wants to remove all these weight classes: super middleweight, super bantamweight, super featherweight, all the joint weight classes. All the in betweens, and I think he even wants to remove cruiserweight and stuff. I really disagree with that. They've been established for quite some time now. They're recognised by all the sanctioning bodies, even though I want to get rid of sanctioning bodies. But this is where he's a hypocrite. The big rumour going on, and of course it's just a rumour, is Dana White, TKO, Nick Khan, Turkey Alex Sheikh. I'm just going to refer to him as TKO. The big rumour is TKO will be putting on Canelo versus Crawford. Canelo versus Crawford is happening at super middleweight. So you can't really stress and organise all this talk about removing all these weight classes when the first fight you are organising, and it's a massive fight, a super fight, is in a bloody weight class which you're trying to remove. It makes no sense. So it winds me up because he's really hypocritical, Dana White, and I know he's gonna go on a massive campaign now, trying to remove, not campaign, but I suppose Turkey and Dana are gonna go on a kind of streak trying to remove all these weight divisions. It just won't work. And how's it gonna work? Are all the fighters gonna sign to this TKO? I hope not. Queensbury, Matchroom, Top Rank, even Golden Boy, they are so both historic. There's a poster here. It's Chris Eubank versus Michael Watson. And on the bottom is the Matchroom Boxing logo. That fight was made in the 90s. Frank Warren's been in this game since the late 70s. Are they eradicating? In a way, they are eradicating history. They are trying to remove some of the most influential people from the game, and it does my head in. You know, we'll move on from all that anyway. Lamont Road. We'll move on. Next topic I kind of want to talk about is the Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Davis fight, which happened. Was it last weekend? I don't even know if it was last weekend. It feels like it was last weekend, but obviously there's a massive controversy about that fight at the minute because Gervonta Davis was knocked down. Can you believe it? There's a controversy because someone was knocked down. Bloody hell, you know what I mean? Gervonta Davis was knocked down. I don't care what he says. Yeah, he started crying saying he had grease in his hair. His own hairdresser came forward and was like, Gervonta, you're taking it, Mick, mate. You want no grease in the hair. She put the videos up. I'll put them up on screen. There's videos of Gervonta Davis's hair 4 days before the fight. His hair looks fine. There's no bloody grease in that hair. That is the stupidest excuse. That is the worst excuse I have heard since the days of Deontay Wilder, saying that his suit was too heavy when he walked out. It's one of the worst excuses ever. Is he overrated? Now this is a big topic at the minute. Gervonta Davis, is he overrated? My answer to that, definitely. Definitely. He is 1,000,000% overrated. Gervonta Davis is not as good as a fighter as people say he is. You know, is he skilled? Yes. Is he amazing? Yes. Is he one of the greatest fighters in the world at the minute? He's top 10. But is he this sublime, perfect fighter? No. No. Not a chance. You know, this is going to be controversial. If Nick Ball, who fights on Saturday, if he went up the weight divisions to fight him, he beats him. There's so many better little fighters who beat Gervonta Davis. The thing is with Gervonta Davis, he did what Mayweather did. Mayweather, nearing the end of his career, picked fights. It's true, it's a fact, he picked fights, but he picked good level opponents. It's what Canelo's doing now. Canelo's entering, although he's still good, he's entering the latter stages of his career. And he is picking fighters, but the fighters he's picking is up and coming young fighters who have got their career ahead of them. It's what Floyd Mayweather did with Canelo. Gervonta Davis is doing that now, but he's so young and he's got so many fights ahead of him. So I just don't understand. He's got in his head that he's this sublime fighter and he's the perfect fighter, and he can fight who he wants to fight. No, fight the best. Fight the best. I'd quite like to see him fight Haney. I'd like to see him fight. Oh, this is gonna sound weird. It's a random one. I'd quite like to see him fight Garcia again, with no clause to warrant the fight going in any direction. I think it should be an equal fight. That's another thing. I don't get all these clauses, all these like mandatory things, weight fucking cuts. Don't agree with it. A fight should be equal. Either get on the weight to fight the man that you're fighting, or don't fight him. Don't fight him because it hinders you. Why are you're abusing your body? You're abusing your body, and I think this is another reason why fighters are losing more younger, and why fighters are struggling to make weight. It's a stupid mentality, and I suppose Dana White. That's a rule he could implement. That's something I would recommend to Dana White actually. If you're going to implement rules, implement this. No silly clauses about weight cuts and stuff like that, and water clauses, rehydration clauses. Fight on your weight level, or go up a weight the proper way, or go down a weight the proper way. Don't be dehydrating yourself to make weight. It's dangerous. I suppose tracking back to the talk with Nick Ball, I kind of got distracted there with Nick Ball. He's been on my mind recently. I'm really looking forward to the fight on Saturday versus TJ Dehaney. You know, Dehaney's coming back after that Inoue loss. I've had this idea in my head for a while now, and it's going to be build up. It's the next fight Turkey's going to make. Guarantee you this will be another TKO fight, actually. Inoue versus Ball. This is how I'd do it. I'd have Inoue go on to fight in Las Vegas, as I think will be announced tomorrow. I would have Nick Ball obviously fight Saturday, which I think he'll win. And then have Nick Ball fight Stephen Fulton for the WBC featherweight belt. Inoue goes up a weight division and fights the winner of that fight. Now Inoue has already beaten Stephen Fulton back in 2023 in, what was it now? August 2023. Does he beat him again in featherweight? Probably. Does Inoue beat Nick Ball? Indefinitely not. Don't think he does. I think Nick Ball KOs him, actually. You know, in his last fight, Inoue was dropped. I could certainly, very definitely, see Nick Ball overpowering Inoue in a KO very early. Very, very early. It's an interesting thing to think about. You know, who knows? Who knows? But that's all I've got to speak about today. If you've got any more like feedback on where I could improve with this video and what kind of stuff you guys would like to see, you know, that'd be greatly appreciative. God bless you all. Best of luck to you all. You know, stay tuned. Watch this space. Expect big things coming soon.